All right,
Welcome.
go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, welcome, friends. As you can see, we are live without a net today, meaning you are going to get a chance to eavesdrop in our workshop today on spiritual awakening that will be facilitated by Larendee Roos. And if you're getting the same screen I am, Larendee is the woman to my left right here. Now, when I say facilitator, again, she's helping guide this time together. But please know that both Carter and Jason, which you can see below me, they're going to contribute to this conversation as well. And we might have a couple other people drop in who run a little bit late. But this is a very dynamic event, something that is probably best enjoyed if you are involved with these conversations. So what I'm saying with this is, next time a topic comes up that interests you, please join us live. It makes it better for the participants. Every single one of the participants, your presence will add to this workshop, or I should say any workshop that we do. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, may I introduce you to Larendee Roos.
Thank you so much, Randy. Welcome, everyone. And just want to acknowledge those who chose to be with us in person, and then anyone who will experience this at a later date and through watching the video. Thank you for your presence, and thank you for your willingness to join with us as we explore our own journeys. And the topic today is spiritual awakening. And what I love about the way that this 12-week course is outlined, this is the free introduction to that 12-week course, is that, as Randy said, it is experiential and it is enriching when all participants bring their experience to the topics and to the workshops. So there's something I've come to recognize and experience is that I show up and facilitate and walk shoulder to shoulder with others who decide to participate. My life is enriched. I learn, and I am further healed and further energized, inspired, and find a firm foundation for me to continue my own spiritual journey. So that's the opportunity. And again, just want to express gratitude for those who chose to join with us. So in beginning this, if we can, wherever you are, just take a moment, and we're going to just join with a brief meditation together. So if you can either close your eyes, or if you don't want to close your eyes because that doesn't feel comfortable to you, perhaps find a focal point in the room where you're sitting, and just bring your attention to that place and give yourself the gift of presence. Give yourself the gift of calming and slowing that part of your mind that busies itself with way too much to do for very long extended periods of time. Just give yourself the gift of calm and presence. So as we close our eyes, take a deep breath, breathing in and relaxing, exhaling. And let's do that again. Take in a deep breath, filling your stomach, diaphragm, and your chest, and then a gentle release. We're just going to do that a few more times, and I'm going to be silent as you experience that. Just give yourself that gift of a few more deep, relaxing, and releasing breaths. And now let's imagine together that we are relaxing and becoming very aware of our true self, that highest part of us that does know what's in our best interest, but often does not have space for a variety of reasons. And we're just going to open to that highest self. You might experience it somewhere in your body. You might just be aware of it, but just acknowledge and allow yourself to be present to that. And now as you connect to that highest self, Allow yourself to grow more and more peaceful, more relaxed. Tuning into that inner light, allow it to fulfill and fill your awareness. Allow the light to fill the room where you are presently sitting. Fill the building, home, wherever you are. Allow it to be filled with this light. Now expanding into the community, and allow the light to fill the community, your neighborhood. Now allow that light to extend to the universe. Allow that light to connect to those of us who are on this call and to those who will attend at a later time. And notice how good it feels to be connected to the truth of the universality of peace and awareness. It's available to us at any time we choose to remember. This is our natural state. This is the state that feels peaceful, inspiring, relaxing to us. Now just take a moment longer. And now bring that light fully back into your center, back to your presence in the room that you are. And now take a moment to extend love to each person on this call, this conference. And now hold awareness for one or two other individuals that you have had experience in the last week to be in presence with that will benefit of love's extension to them. Send that love to them. And as you extend that love to them, feel it returning to you as well. Wholeness and completeness. And when you are ready, go ahead and bring your attention back to the call. And I'll just give you just a moment to return. I want to just take a moment, and for anyone who'd like to share what you experienced or anything you would like to share with us this morning that you feel so inspired and inclined to share.
Well, I was wanting to be a nice host and let others have a chance to share before me. But I am in a state where I'm, again, as I was focusing on my breath, I'm reminded that I'm bringing the formless within this body and exhaling as well. So there's a connection that's going on that is invisible, formless, but is very real, very much life-sustaining. And every breath is a reaffirmation of my life.
Thank you so much, Randy. Anyone else care to share? And if you're watching this at a later time, just encourage you to speak out loud what you experienced. Wonderful. All right, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go ahead and dive into the material today. So again, this program is called a Spiritual Awakening Program. And the foundation of this program is this program setting helps you uncover your own innate wisdom in a nurturing environment of safety and trust. And this environment makes it easy to release limiting concepts you no longer need. With the loving support of others who are also exploring their own awakening, you can let down your defenses, your shields, even your denials as you realize you are not alone. As you do this, you can allow yourself to experience the unconditional love, joy, and inner peace, which is your true nature. And through empowering experiential processes, the Spiritual Awakening Program helps you grow and expand your awareness of your true spiritual nature with the support and shared insight of each person. There are many activities to help you connect feelings with ideas so you can make the ideas work in your life. This work can be a journal of your awakening. Space is provided to write notes about your experiences, meditations, and discussion questions. So again, want to acknowledge Pathways of Light, which is the organization through which I hold my ordained ministerial counseling credentials, and express gratitude to them and their staff for their continued efforts to make it possible for spiritual awakening, healing inner child, transforming power of trust, and 65 plus courses that are available to anyone who desires some facilitated learning. Or you get what you may order the materials and read one lesson and set it on a shelf. Oh, good. So just want to acknowledge and express gratitude to Robert and Mary Stolting, the founders and current directors of Pathways of Light, and for all of the thousands of ministers across the world who make programs like this available. So I want to look at the guidelines for participation today. Again, the purpose of the Spiritual Awakening Program is to provide a loving, supportive, non-judgmental environment to nurture our spiritual growth. The Spiritual Awakening Program is simply a vehicle for your spiritual growth. It's a tool. You are the driver, responsible for your own growth. We are all each other's teachers. We are here to learn from one another. If anything doesn't feel fit right to you, put it on a mental shelf. You may want to come back to it later. You don't have to accept anything. But in line with that, if I could just get, Randy, would you be willing to read the first 3 bullet points that are the guidelines for us to receive the most from our experience? And then, Jason, are you willing to read with us this morning as well?
I am. I didn't get the email, so I don't have the PDF in front of me. So it's going to be a challenge for me to read off the screen.
Okay. While what I will do to offer maximum value to you, Jason, is I will take a moment on one of the breaks. We'll take about a minute break, and I'll email you the materials. It's really
Appreciate it.
when you participate with us. But in the meantime, and I know Carter's struggling with a little bit of voice issues this morning, so she asked to just observe. So Randy, why don't you read points 1 through 5, and then I'll read 6 through 9. How's that?
I will do.
Thank you.
We listen with an open heart and open mind. Out of mutual respect for everyone, we accept each other's opinion or expression as valid for that person at that moment. We remember that we all have free will. We are free to choose what ideas we accept as true for us. Out of respect and value for everyone's time, we arrive before the scheduled meeting time so we can start promptly. While acknowledging each other's right to express themselves, we are also aware of keeping our own sharing to a reasonable portion of the available time.
We agree not to use our time together as a place to dwell upon our troubles. Rather, we use this time as a place to look at perceived problems, explore the thoughts behind them, and open to new perspectives from inner guidance. We hold what is expressed in this program confidential so that everyone can be comfortable sharing their feelings. We are committed to attending regularly each week to maintain the continuity of our awakening process, and we use our time together for sincere focus on spiritual awakening. We reserve social conversation for after the program or other agreed upon times. So let me just take one moment. I'm going to email this to Jason so he has the benefit, and we all have the benefit of his active participation. Give me just one moment to do that. Oh, you know what happens, Jason? I may have sent this to an incorrect email address for you, so that could be why you didn't receive it. So I'll make note of this email address for the future.
It happens.
Okay, thank you. So while we're doing that, let's just take a moment. Anyone who would like to share why this particular subject matter was of interest to you. So why was this subject matter of particular interest to you? So Jason, can we start with you?
Why not? The idea of a spiritual awakening, it's as much emotional as it is anything else. And when I had mine, there have been many degrees to spiritual awakeness that I've gone through, and it's something I really enjoy talking about and really enjoy discussing the journey, because there is no destination of being awakened. It's always a process of awakening, and being able to share where on the journey you are. You never know how it's going to impact someone else's journey upon their awakening, where they are. If there's just one little thing that you happen to say that gives them that different perspective to go that next distance. I'm a firm believer that on this journey, we are here to really support each other, and the more that we can, the better off we are.
Thank you so much, Jason. What a great metaphor but also truth of being here to, if we can have an experience that we share willingly to help someone in the next phase of their journey. So powerful. And that felt so good to me as you shared that. So thank you, Jason, for that beautiful reminder. Our family traveled from California to Utah this week to be with some of our other children. And my husband, we took a very long first leg of the journey, and we were on the road for about 10 hours. And my husband, who was doing the driving, I chose to stay awake the entire time so I could support him. And as we were taking that journey, it reminded me of my own desire, as Jason, you mentioned, to continue my awakening process, to continue learning and growing so that I can be as awake as possible and be available to anyone else who might need some support, and as I need support for my journey. So thank you, Jason. What a beautiful way to share. All right. And then Carter, if there's anything you'd like to share but don't want to speak out loud because of your voice, if you want to type it in the chat, we can be willing to share, unless you want to try.
I could try. Typing would probably be more laborious. Just sort of what's the word? Just an add-on to that I think that once that starts happening and you recognize it, not necessarily as a spiritual awakening per se, maybe at the beginning, but it connects you to people you don't know, and you realize that sort of on the other side of these things, it gets better and better. That I don't think I can speak for myself that how can you not stop?
Mhm.
I'm sure I've been stuck. I would say I'm stuck recently, but it keeps getting better and better just to upon the stuckness of dropping back down into the faith of it all again.
Mm.
That yeah, as it does continue, it's expanding.
Mm. Thank you so much, Carter. And one of the spiritual texts called the Bible, I believe it's in Psalms, it talks about, as the deer panteth after the water, so my soul panteth after you. C.S. Lewis had a great analogy of the hound of heaven searching for us, and laboriously and willingly, because that's the hound's role, seeking after us. And so in this beautiful experience, spirits join and collide, and then we have more maybe juice for the journey, as you talked about, Carter. How could I stop with once what I've experienced, I can't go back. Yeah. Wonderful. Randy, why is this topic appealing to you?
Well, I guess, yeah, just to kind of segue with the same theme. I was introduced just to the general concept of a spiritual awakening in recovery. If those are aware of it, basically the solution in a 12-step program is a spiritual awakening. It's explained in the 12th step. And yeah, without going through a long story, I did have a moment of clarity. What brought me to that fellowship was a moment of clarity as well. And there's been a series of moments, big and small, when there was insights provided that I was on a journey that was, again, expanding, evolving, deepening, and really hard for me to describe and such. But I am a different person than I was when I began this 17 years ago. And yeah, it's just something that I know for sure is never ending, at least in this lifetime. And my hypothesis is this is really truly the purpose of life, of all life, is going through this maturation. Is that the right word? This maturing, where, and there's also a hypothesis of mine that supports reincarnation, that this process is not just in this incarnation of my body, that it again is growing. That yeah, if this experience is potential, then even in many lifetimes, it's basically never ending. This is just the natural order of things as I see it. So as opposed to myself trying to deny it, try to dilute it, pollute it, I'm doing my best to flow with this, to allow this to, is in the prayer of Saint Francis, God, make me a channel of thy peace. That if I can be a channel of this energy, I'm enriched. Again, I seem to be maturing again with these connections with those around me, those in this meeting, but also connecting with a deeper part of myself. It's a very unique paradox that I might describe, at least the words that come to me right now, is I can be both vibrant and calm and at peace, which at first glance may not make any sense at all. Even as I say it, even while I preface this, it may not make sense to anyone, but this is what I'm experiencing right now. It's not a certainty, but it is a confidence, which again, might not necessarily be conveyed to communicating and stuff. I rest in the mystery, but I know the mystery is real and supportive of life, all life, the galaxies, the same energy that supports our solar system and such, that supports the seasons, the gravity, magnetism. All that is also what makes my heart beat without me having to think about it. My lungs expand and contract and such. So there's an infinite and a finite all together in one moment. And I can blow my mind on this stuff, and then I just release it. And I get to this place where I am right now.
Thank you, Randy. And receiving all that all of you have shared and expanding on my experience of that. And I've had many throughout my life. The first one being when I was about 4 years of age, an awareness that I was definitely a spiritual being having a human experience. And I won't go into that today because we don't have time, but many experiences. And one of the things that I think one of the most beautiful quotes from A Course in Miracles is the description of a holy instant. That moment when there's an intersection of what you were describing, Randy, and then that in those holy instances, those holy moments that can be brief or last a very long time, it's when our innate inner wisdom connects with a universal consciousness that is sustaining of life, supporting and loving. And in A Course in Miracles, it says that the holiest place on earth is when an ancient hatred becomes a present love. And so all of the things that experiences we've had, walls that we built around ourselves to protect us in theory, or whatever the case is, are all examples of ancient wounds and things that we've all experienced over millennia. But in those moments, all of that is washed away in those holy instances when present love finds us. And in that, I also wanted to just share Michael W. Smith is a prolific singer-songwriter, and you might be familiar with his song Place in This World. And I thought the lyrics spoke so beautifully to what we're talking about. If you have time later, you might choose to search this on YouTube and listen to it. The wind is moving, but I am standing still. A life of pages waiting to be filled. A heart that's hopeful, a head that's full of dreams. But this becoming is harder than it seems. Feels like I'm looking for a reason, roaming through the night to find my place in this world. My place in this world. Not a lot to lean on. I need your light to help me find my place in this world. And I'm just going to stop there. When I hear this song, and I've been playing it a bit lately, I was really drawn to the this analogy of kind of feeling like I'm roaming through the night sometimes, and that I need the universe's light, but I also need Randy's light and Jason's light and Carter's light to help me. And this mutual reciprocity of fellow light travelers, those of us who have no desire or inclination to look back, but to continue moving forward. This is how we do the journey of spiritual awakening. And it's how it's possible, is that there are no degrees of knowing more or knowing less. It's just our present experience, that holy place where all of our precepts that we've brought to this present moment really don't matter, because I'm able to be fully present and continue my awakening. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. And I would like us, Jason, this is on page 3 of the materials. And on page 3 of the materials are some nurturing qualities that we might want to look at for our work today. And maybe pick out 3 or 4 that stand out to you, that you would like to nurture in yourself today as we spend the next 20 minutes together. And let's just write down 3 or 4 that stand out to you. And if one you desire is not on this list, feel free to write it down.
The first one that stands out to me is trusting. The second one is self-empowered.
Mm-hmm.
And the third would be empathic. And if there was a fourth to round it all out and make it a nice even number, probably be supportive.
Hmm. Thank you so much, Jason. And I'm going to focus on giving, calm, and nurturing. And if there were a fourth, I would choose patient today. Randy?
Accepting, loving, open to spirit. And the fourth would be focused.
Thank you. Carter?
I have 5.
Okay.
Open to spirit, trusting, patient. Well, and then there's open. That could both be. So open to spirit, trusting, patient, and receptive.
Thank you. And not that there needs to be any distinguishing between open to spirit and open. The more I'm open to spirit, the more open I am to others' ideas. One of the opportunities for growth for me as I've continued on my own journey of continuing to awaken is I came to this work with a very fixed mindset, meaning very black and white thinking. This is the way it is. And as I've done this work, my heart is lighter. There's no more weight on my shoulders because I'm having to carry this perceived truth of there's always a right and there's always a wrong. And I can be the judge of that. So how much lighter my journey is. I'm not carrying around the rocks of fixed mindset. Really so beautiful. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is there's some reading for us. This is on workbook page 5, Jason. You create what you focus on. So we're going to just take some turns reading through this, and we'll stop about every 4th or 5th paragraph. So who would be willing to read, starting with everyone perceives life, Jason? And let's go ahead and have you read through, so what is the difference, that paragraph. So it's about 5 paragraphs.
Sure. Everyone perceives life through their own filter. We have all heard the phrase, seeing the world through rose-colored glasses. We each tint our glasses according to the beliefs and attitudes we are focused on in the moment. You have probably explored the exhilarated feeling of being in love. At that moment, you are functioning in an energy of love, even if it's simply a romance. All of life seems exciting. You see other people around you in loving light. You seem to notice many others who are in love. Your perception of the future is enthusiastic and positive. You feel on top of the world. You have also probably experienced deflation when romance faded. If you were very attached to the relationship, you may have gone into a deep depression with feelings of loss, discouragement, self-doubt, even hopelessness. From this perspective, the world appears gloomy. People around you seem to be depressed or angry, too. There seems to be little to be happy about. Everything seems to go wrong. How is it that the world you experience and perceive can change so completely and so suddenly? Have the people in your life changed? Has the world around you changed? Chances are your physical circumstances have not changed. Many of the people in your life are still there, but you see them through a different filter. So, what is the difference? The difference is your focus. When you focus on light, you see light. When you focus on darkness, darkness seems to be everywhere.
Thank you, Jason. And let's go ahead and read on. Everyone has their periods of joy. Carter, do you feel comfortable reading the next 5 paragraphs?
I'll give it a try.
Thank you.
Let's see. Everyone has their periods of joy and exhilaration, their disappointments, their feelings of hurt, of love, and oneness. Some people experience broad swings between extreme highs and extreme lows. The experience of the swing can become addictive. Something is happening, it's exciting. There may be, excuse me, can you make it just a little bit larger?
Sure. Thank you for asking.
Thank you. Let's see.
Right here.
There may even be an adrenaline rush with a swing in either direction. Others may not be so tied to the experience of swinging between highs and lows, yet mental habits lead them to dwell upon the possibilities they fear and don't want. It may not lead them to extreme mood swings, but their focus keeps them manifesting the very things they say they don't want. Focusing on fears is a game of the ego. It uses the effects of the focus to justify its fears. The cycle continues because, indeed, you experience what you believe.
So let's stop there for a moment, and would just be interested in hearing from anyone any thoughts that you had about what we've read so far.
Two things came to mind, actually. And they were both in the last paragraphs that were read. So the idea of what you focus on, there's a passage in the writings from my religion that says, my calamity is my providence. Outward it is fire and vengeance, inward it is light and mercy. And it is all about that perspective. What are you going to focus on? And even if you do focus on the part that is all doom and gloom, is that really all that there is? Is that really what's going on? And do you have the ability to take a moment to see what else could be going on besides what the outward manifestation of what you were seeing? The second thing that came to mind was the idea of ego. And this is something that I've delved a lot in, because I don't believe that the ego really has one defined way of being understood. And it's important to understand that while, yes, ego can be the seat of fear, it's also the seat of our ability to progress. So it's also the reason why we have the need to become better than what we are.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Also, adding to what Jason said, I'm reminded of Psalms 23. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, because you are with me. And there the psalmist was talking about his relationship with God. And what certainly my relationship with God is the most important relationship in my life, because it gives me foundation for all other relationships in my life. And as I have walked through the valley of the shadow of death personally and my own experience on a couple of occasions, and then as I've experienced the valley of the shadow of death through the transition of my son, and then the last year my parents, I recognize and am so grateful for the God within my brothers and sisters who walked beside me and helped me to not fear as well, because they walked beside me. And this is the opportunity that we are able to, the more we awaken, dwell upon the possibility of expansion and life and breath and relationship. So, and I've shared this before, that we can hold despair when we experience things like that, and hope in the same space at the same time. And that's something, this will be 16 years since my son's transition as a young man. And it took me until about 3 years ago to have that awareness for myself, that I could hold that grief and hope in the same space. And how am I able to do that? Through relationship, through opportunities like this to join with others in the awakening process. Randy, anything you'd like to add before we move on?
Yeah, so focusing on fears as a game of the ego. Certainly something I am very familiar with. I've described it more than once that I'm playing this game of life not to lose. That's being more fear driven than being drawn by faith to the possibility of the moments and such. So instead of playing the game of life not to lose, playing the game to win. Now, this for the longest time, I had some aversion to adopting the phrase that was given to me because I suffer from insecurities, which is synonymous with fears about being a loser. But I've come to redefine the word winning for myself to living in this expansive state I was describing earlier. Winning the game of life is being in the moment and flowing and being in connection with the God of my heart and with the God that everyone else recognizes through their mind's eyes. Again, I feel more comfortable anymore with just saying life, but it's really kind of bigger than, well, any word or any explanation. But if I can be in the moment and I can be engaged with life, just noticing, opposed to trying to figure it all out, that feels like an accomplishment and success.
Thank you so much. Let's move on. So consider shifting your focus. Imagine spending an entire day focusing on the innate goodness that is there in every person in your life. Imagine spending the day focusing on your innate love and abundance without one thought straying into a focus on fears. How do you imagine you would feel at the end of such a day? The empowering truth is that if you can imagine it, you can experience it. There is not one thing which has been made in your physical world that did not start in the imagination of someone. You are surrounded by countless demonstrations of the power of imagination. If each person were to invest just 5 minutes a day in imagining their entire day focused on the innate goodness in everyone and on their innate love and abundance, they would experience a dramatic transformation in their lives. There is no time in the dimension of spirit. 5 minutes of imagining the truth about yourself and others reaches out much further than those 5 minutes. When we are seeing the goodness in others and focusing on following Spirit's plan for our lives, we are connecting with the natural, abundant state of oneness. When we focus on fear or limitation, we are resisting what is natural. It takes great effort to resist what is natural to our true inner spirit. That is why 5 minutes of surrendering to what is natural, to your true spiritual nature, goes a long way toward neutralizing the effects of fear. This 5-minute exercise can bring us greater success, more joy, and deeper peace than we ever imagined. It can bring us closer to experiencing our true, loving spiritual nature. What are we waiting for? We can begin it now. So any thoughts on what we just read? And we're going to move into a brief meditation. It's an exercise. Any thoughts from anyone?
One thing that came to mind throughout this entire 2 pages that we read, the thing that really that came to mind, and I feel like Randy really touched on this beautifully, is Deb Dana in her book Polyvagal Theory and Therapy talks about the goal is to fall in love with life and to enjoy the risk of living. And it's understanding that life is indeed that risk. Nothing you can do about that except to face it head on and enjoy it anyway, because there's so much that we have to gain by doing so.
Thank you so much, Jason. And what I love about this particular reminder too is, how do we do that? Live life to the fullest. We can do that in relationship to one another by remembering the true innate love and abundance within each person we encounter and embrace, whether it seems like that person is living that state or not. So at the beginning of the call, Randy and I were talking about homelessness, and I shared one experience I had. I have a few more of where I was able to look beyond the circumstance of someone in a drug addicted state, in a homeless state, and look past that physical, what appeared to be the truth, and see the divine complete and wholeness within them, and have had some truly remarkable experiences where my awakening was accelerated and the spark was lit further by someone who, according to the physical belief standards of the world, would say that they're just not in as good a position as I am. And yet I learned so much from encounters with my brothers and sisters who were in that temporary state where it didn't seem that they were living an abundant, full life. And yet they touched my heart and touched my spirit and taught me spiritual principles that I will never forget. So looking beyond the circumstances to remember the truth. And in that way, our awakening is accelerated and dimensions added to it. Carter, anything you would like to share?
No.
Thanks. Thank you so much. All right, so I want to just take a moment and do a brief meditation. So if you can, again, just close your eyes. Find yourself in a very relaxed state. Just give yourself a moment to experience peace, calm. Allow yourself to be in that moment for a moment. Relaxing and letting go of any identity of the body. Let your mind quiet and let go of all outer concerns. None of it matters now. Lay everything in the outer world aside. You can pick up those thoughts again later if you wish, but for right now, just let them go. Continue to soften. Focus on relaxing your body and mind. Feel your head relaxing, your eyes relaxing, your face, your jaw, your neck. Your shoulders are relaxing, your arms, your hands, your chest is relaxing with each breath that you bring in and exhale. Your stomach is relaxed, your legs, your feet, letting go of all tension. You allow in a feeling of gentleness, of patience, peace, openness, love, joy, happiness. You are now tuned in to a profound peace. You flow with this healing feeling. You flow with this truth. And it takes you to your true self. Allow yourself to feel one with this gentle, loving light as it fills your mind. Ask your inner guidance to help you heal your mind by helping you to change any focus that you may have been carrying this week. Allowing you to change your focus and allowing your inner guidance to give you an awareness of the innate abundance of your true self. Even if you've experienced this previously, allow yourself to really fully receive in this moment the feeling of your profound, loving inner guidance, and allow that to expand and grow. And remind yourself that consistently practicing allowing abundance and the awareness of your true innate inner wisdom to guide your life is the key. And now, as you sit for a moment with that, what is life like? How does it feel? Allow your inner guidance to help you imagine and envision and to know what it's like to live life fully, spiritually energized, and allowing your true spiritual self to be in charge of the thoughts and the actions that guide you. What is it like to be so connected to the God of your understanding? The decisions that seemed so difficult before come with ease. Take a moment longer to reflect on all that you've just experienced. And when you feel ready, open your eyes. And if you're so inclined, either draw a picture or write down a few notes of what you experienced. Okay, and we're at top of the hour. So anyone care to share briefly about what you wrote or drew or what you experienced? And then I have one more thing to share with you as we close, and we'll have you on your way in about 4 minutes. So raise your hand if you'd like to share anything. And it's okay if you don't, if you want to just be present to whatever you experienced, also wonderful. Whatever you choose. Jason.
In the Middle East, there is a prison city called Akka, and it's where a 17th century prisoner was kept for many years, and things that he experienced there and the revelations he gave after being there was very profound. And during that meditation, I saw that place. I've never actually been there myself, but just seeing that the prison itself on the shore of the Adriatic Sea was pretty powerful.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Jason. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Okay. So in closing, from the material that is included in this course, there is a reading. And so I want to read it now. I remember who I am. I accept that I am love. I release all judgments of others and know that they are doing the best they can. I keep my life simple and follow my highest path. I stay in tune with the highest source within me and let it guide my ways. I am gentle and kind with myself and others. I pace myself with one step at a time. I know the perfect circumstances present themselves for my perfect continued growth. I am love. I am joy. I am peace. And I hope that each of you are able to embrace the simplicity of connecting to your own inner wisdom and allowing that to be the compass and the guidance for your life. If you're interested in learning more about the 12-week program, please be in touch with Randy or myself, and we'll be glad to help you discover how this might be something that you want to participate in. Randy, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, again, thank you, Larendee, for facilitating this time together. This has been an enriching, so much benefit I've received. I can't even fully comprehend. So thank you. But again, this is not just coming from one individual here. Carter, Jason, with your time here as well, this has been something that is beyond my vocabulary right now. All I can do is say thank you very much for joining us. And if you're watching this recording, know that you've been with us in a way that, again, is beyond my full comprehension or vocabulary. But just by watching, you've contributed to this, and this is something that I consider very special. So thank you all. And again, I invite anyone who's watching this to tune into any one of the previous workshops that Larendee has facilitated. They're on resourcefulness or resiliency. There has also been one previously just to this that was healing the inner child as well. All of them had gifts within them. So they were all available to you free of charge. If you'd like to explore this work deeper, yes, there are complementary programs that will take you to a deeper understanding, a much more profound awareness of what resides within you. So that being said, again, I know everybody's time is valuable. So again, I thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you again sometime soon. Till then, may peace be with you.